to the Zazpiak Bat Way, to health, well-being, and the life dream. My name is Denise Orpustan-Love. I would like to dedicate this presentation to my ancestors, to my family, and to the Basque people and the village of Ortsaizi. I have been researching the ancient Basque ways of life, indigenous ways of life, for 25 years. This presentation is an integration and a synthesis of this research. The Zazpiak Bat, or 7R1, which relates to the 7 provinces that are one and united in the Basque country, are related to the major areas of life. The major areas of life are the way of wholeness, which is the way of personal development, the initiations that integrate the spirit and physical worlds, the spiritual and the physical worlds. The way of the ancestors, which is tied to relationships, both living and ancestral. The way of the home, balancing work and family. The way of the land, tied to life purpose and belonging. The way of the village, community relations. The way of 2 worlds relates to life transitions. And the way of the universe is health, well-being, and one's life dream. First, we must begin with an Indigenous definition of health and well-being. It is an alignment of what we feel, our emotions, how we think, our cognitions, what we do, our actions, our behavior, and what we say, both verbal and nonverbal communication. Health is not the absence of disease, but the presence of these major areas of life and the life dream. Health and well-being, mental, spiritual, and physical, is an integration of mind, body, and spirit. So let's dive deeper into the way of wholeness. The way of wholeness, as I mentioned, is tied to the area of life of personal development, the initiations, the rites of passage that integrate the spiritual dimensions and the physical or concrete dimensions, what is seen, what is not seen, what is hidden, and what is obvious. The daily life actions, or sun, is tied to asking for what you need. It is important in personal development to ask first for what you need. And this is tied to the inner qualities or character development, which is reflected by the moon, of having faith and courage. This process, when referring to planting cycles, is to seed the questions of your life dream. This takes place through initiation rituals, rites of passage, and often parallels the seasons of the year, starting with the new year in that Indigenous culture. The tools used to build your life dream are found in cycles of action and reflection. One specific tool that may be helpful to start this is to journal one's reflections and one's dreams and one's actions. The lesson in the way of wholeness is to never give up on what you believe in, to believe in yourself, as the self is tied to the family, the home, the earth, and the universe. Stand up and believe in something larger than yourself. Nature is tenacious. The way of the ancestors is tied to relationships. We are meant to be in relation with one another. We are meant to be part of a village, part of a community. All roots of humanity come from being part of that village, of that tribe. All living beings and family and friends and community and ancestors, both living and those that have gone before us, are part of that web of life, of relationships that are interconnected. This way of life is tied to strengthening these connections with both past ancestors and present relationships, honoring similarities and differences, focusing on respect, compassion, and understanding, sprouting your life dream through storytelling, expressing your life dream, as I'm doing here in this presentation, as this has been and continues to be and will be part of my life's work. The way of the ancestors, as we move through personal development and wholeness into building and strengthening relationships, it asks us to sprout our life dream. And this is often manifest through the seasons and the cycles of spring. The lesson for the way of the ancestors is to trust in the process and be patient, to balance those cycles of action with reflection, to work hard, but celebrate accomplishments and take time for your dream, your life dream, and your life's work to evolve in the spaces between the activities of daily life. Remember that nature is unyielding and strong, but unpredictable. The way of the home. The home is tied to the land, it's tied to the ancestors, it's tied to wholeness. The way of the home is related to balancing work and family. More modern times, we think of work-life balance. This is a place of rest, work, and play, a place of nurturing identity and the discovery of the life dream, honesty or truth-telling about who you are and what you need. Growth. A process of growth happens in the way of the home through incubation and nourishing of your life dream, and through those relationships, through gathering, meals, songs, celebration, birth and death rituals. So you can see as I'm talking and sharing that these ways of life and all ways of life of Indigenous cultures and ancient cultures are interrelated and interconnected. Just as these pathways and these ways that I'm sharing are not necessarily linear, but cyclical and cycle through the seasons of life and loss and renewal. The lesson of the way of the home is to know that you are never alone. Nature is all around you, interconnected and interdependent. You are never alone. The way of the land is tied to Mother Earth and Father Sky. And work, career, our life's work, our life dream is a reciprocal, balanced relationship of sharing your unique gifts and contributions to the world. Listen to what is needed to regain balance and care enough to make it happen. The way of the land calls forth peace and beauty, building new insights and illuminations through manifesting our work, often manifests through the seasons of the summer, through nature-based practices, gardening, walking, hiking, farming. Solitude are some examples. The lesson of the way of the land is to focus on the positive, not the negative. If you focus on the positive will grow, and see the best in yourself and others. Always be true to your voice and your truth. The way of the village. Community is a central part of your life's meaning and purpose. Give your gifts to the village and receive gifts in return. This is that reciprocity or mutual reciprocity. The way of the village is about balance and harmony. Flower and share your new insights and illuminations as they grow. And this way of life is tied to the season of llamas. The tools are creative expression, music, art, song, dance, writing. The lesson in the way of the village is that your dreams will manifest in time. My mentor, my late mentor, Angeles Arian, taught me this, showed me this. Never give up on what you believe in. Trust in the process and be patient. Realize that you are never alone, and to focus on the positive, and the positive will grow. The village asks us to trust, have trust and faith versus fear, love over hate. The way of the two worlds is tied to life transitions and crossroads that one may find themselves at various times of their life, bridging times of change, of uncertainty, sometimes chaos, sometimes darkness, and sometimes stillness. This can be the death of old ways and new intuitions that emerge that will help to clarify your life dream as those gates open. Letting go of the past, the physical world, holding on to the present, which is this way of being between two worlds, and believing in the future, the faith, the trust in the spiritual world. Second part of the way of two worlds is to have patience and tenacity as well as trust and faith. Holding on long enough, letting go when one needs to let go. It is that balance of listening. Often the way of two worlds is most manifested or obvious through the harvest. When one manifests through the fruits of their labor and their service, their life dream. We may think of also Halloween and Samhain as a time between two worlds, where the ancestors and dreams are more accessible and present. The tools are to integrate teachings and to notice signs and messages from the physical and the spiritual worlds. The lesson of the way of the two worlds is to be grateful for what is in your life, instead of for searching what is missing. The magic and mystery are hidden beneath the obvious of everyday activities. The mystical path is your path unfolding in everything you feel, say, think, and do, in the choices you make and the actions you take. As Angeles Arian used to say, walking the mystical path with practical feet. The way of two worlds. And last, the way of the universe is tied to the blessings of health and well-being, of all of those 7 ways, those areas of life, those ancient indigenous ways. Life purpose and the life dream is alive in each moment through an integration of that mind, body, and spirit. The gratitude for your journey and the abundance of blessings in all of your life is the way of the universe. It is love. It is wisdom. The process is growing new seeds planted for future generations to renew and to regenerate. The soils grow new seeds, and new seeds are planted for future generations to follow their life dream. Often seen and observed in the winter solstice, to manifest the mystical in everyday life. The lesson is that the ways of life are all interconnected and interrelated. There is no separation or end between the cycles of life and death, just a continuous circle of opening and closing, new beginnings and transitions. Thank you for listening to this presentation. I hope you have enjoyed it.